Welcome to Anointis Journey. The war you were never told about is real. It has no battlefields, no armies marching in formation, yet it is being fought every second of every day. It is a war against knowledge, against those who dare to see beyond the illusions crafted by the unseen hands that rule this world. And if you're watching this right now, you are already a part of it. The chosen ones, those who awaken to the truth, have always been a threat. History has been rewritten to erase them. Science has been twisted to discredit them. And society has been programmed to reject them. From the ancient mystery schools to the modern-day digital prisons we willingly carry in our pockets, the elite have mastered one thing above all else: control. But what happens when the controlled start seeing the chains? What happens when they begin to question, to break free, to share the truth? The answer is simple. They become targets. At first, they watch you in silence. You notice the shift, the way the world around you starts to resist your awakening. Friends who once stood by your side now call you crazy. Family members whisper that you've changed, that you're losing yourself. But deep down, you know, you are not losing yourself. You are remembering who you are. And that is the greatest threat to their system. For centuries, the elite have operated in shadows, masking their influence under the guise of progress, safety, and order. They do not fear the masses. They never have. The crowd is easy to manipulate, but the one who steps outside the crowd, the one who questions, the one who sees through the game, that is the enemy. It starts subtly: an account shadow banned, a book buried in obscurity, a voice silenced before it can ever be heard. But if that does not work, the tactics shift. Ruined reputations, orchestrated failures, and in the most extreme cases, complete erasure. The history books are filled with the names of men and women who dared to pull back the curtain, only to be written off as madmen, conspiracy theorists, or revolutionaries who had to be stopped. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Their power is an illusion. They control through fear, through deception, through making you believe you are alone. But you are not alone. Right now, a great awakening is taking place. The old system is crumbling, and they are desperate to keep their grip on reality. Every move they make, every attempt to suppress the truth, only proves how fragile their empire truly is. But this war is far from over, and the battle you face is not just external, it is within. The chosen ones are not just fighting against an elite system. They are fighting against their own conditioning, their own fears, their own doubts. That is why they use psychological warfare against you. They want you to question yourself, to fall back in line, to surrender. But you cannot surrender. Because if you are here, if you feel this message in your soul, then you were never meant to live in the dark. You were never meant to bow to a false reality. You were born to break the chains, to see the unseen, to remind the world of a truth long buried beneath centuries of lies. The war is real, the enemies are powerful, but so are you. And the greatest secret of all, they fear you more than you could ever fear them. So keep watching, keep questioning, and keep spreading the truth. Because the time is coming when the hidden will be revealed, and those who were once hunted will rise. The question is, will you be ready? Because the war is no longer just a secret. It's unfolding right before our eyes. Every crisis, every distraction, every piece of carefully crafted propaganda is a weapon used against you. They are playing chess while the rest of the world is busy surviving, obeying, and consuming the illusions they feed us. But the chosen ones, we see the board. We see the moves before they are made. And that terrifies them. They have always feared the ones who cannot be controlled, the ones who refuse to submit, the ones who remember. Because once you remember, Once you see through the lies, you become untouchable. No amount of deception can blind you. No fear-based programming can bind you. No amount of gaslighting can make you doubt the truth pulsing through your soul. But make no mistake, they will try. They will try to exhaust you, to keep you so distracted, so drained, that you don't have the energy to fight back. They will flood your mind with chaos, fill your heart with doubt, and whisper that it's all pointless, that nothing you do will ever make a difference. Because if they can break your spirit, they win without ever having to lift a finger. But here's what they don't want you to know. What they have spent centuries hiding. You were never meant to be weak. You were never meant to live in fear. And you were never, ever meant to be a slave to their system. The chosen ones are not just truth seekers. We are warriors, rebels, architects of a new reality. And the moment we stop playing their game collapses. That's why they fight so hard to keep you trapped in survival mode, stuck in cycles of debt, anxiety, and distraction. Because the moment you step into your power, the moment you reclaim your mind, your energy, your divine authority, you become the one thing they can never defeat, uncontrollable. That is why this war is not just fought in the streets, in governments, in corporate boardrooms. This war is spiritual, it is energetic, it is a battle for consciousness itself. And right now, they are losing. Their grip is slipping, their fear is growing. They can censor voices, manipulate algorithms, and rewrite history. But they cannot erase the knowing. The awakening cannot be undone. You feel it, don't you? That pull deep in your soul, that fire that won't die, the feeling that you were meant for more, that you are here for a reason. That's not your imagination. That's your calling. That's the reason they fight so hard to keep you asleep, because the moment you wake up, their reign ends. The question is, no longer will you be ready. The question is, what will you do now? Because the time of waiting is over. The battle has already begun. And the ones who step forward now, the ones who refuse to be silenced, are the ones who will change everything. Are you one of them? If you are, then understand this. You are not here by accident. You were never meant to blend in, to follow the herd, to accept a life of quiet obedience. From the moment you began to question, truly question, the nature of your reality, you became a target. And now they are watching, not with eyes you can see, not always with force you can feel, but they are watching. Every thought you challenge, every illusion you break, every truth you dare to speak, sends ripples through the very fabric of their control. Because the moment a chosen one awakens, their influence begins to decay. They know this. That's why they move in silence, using weapons far more sinister than brute force. They don't come for you with chains anymore. No, they don't need to. Instead, they enslave the mind. They trap you in a world of endless distraction, empty pleasures, and carefully curated lies. They feed you news designed to enrage, entertainment designed to numb, and beliefs designed to keep you small. Because if they can keep you asleep, they don't need to fight you at all. But here's what they fail to understand. Not all of us were meant to be controlled. Some of us were born immune to the illusion. Some of us have always felt the weight of something unseen, the pull of something greater. We have sensed the deception before we could explain it. We have felt the lies before we could prove them. And when the time came, we opened our eyes. And once you see, you can never unsee. But knowing the truth is only the beginning. Because now, you are part of something greater, a force rising in silence, spreading like fire in the darkness. The elites have spent lifetimes trying to suppress us, yet here we are, stronger, wiser, ready. They call it a conspiracy. We call it a reckoning. Because the system they built is not as strong as they want you to believe. It is fragile, held together by the ignorance of the masses and the silence of the awakened. They can only rule so long as we allow them to. Their power exists only because we have not yet reclaimed our own. But that changes now, because the chosen ones are remembering. We are remembering that we were never meant to beg for freedom. We are remembering that our power does not come from their institutions, their approval, or their laws. We are remembering that fear is the final weapon of the weak, and we will not be afraid, because they do not hold the future. We do. And the moment we rise, their empire falls. So I ask you again, are you one of them? If you are, then it's time to decide. Will you continue to watch from the shadows, hoping someone else will speak, someone else will act, someone else will change the world? Or will you step forward, own your power, and become the force they never saw coming? The time for waiting is over. The war is here, and the ones who stand now will become legends,